ഹലോ എവരി വൺ. ഇന്ന് മാർച്ച് 20 അപ്പോൾ ഇന്നത്തെ കറണ്ട് അഫയേഴ്സ് ആണ് ഈ വീഡിയോയിൽ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഫസ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. ക്യാബിനറ്റ് അപ്രൂവ്സ് റിവൈസ്ഡ് നാഷണൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഫോർ ഡയറി ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ ക്യാബിനറ്റ് സെൻട്രൽ ഗവൺമെൻറ് റിവൈസ്ഡ് നാഷണൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഫോർ ഡയറി ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് അപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ് സെൻട്രൽ ഗവൺമെൻറ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് നമുക്കൊന്ന് വായിക്കാം. ദ യൂണിയൻ ക്യാബിനറ്റ് ചെയർഡ് ബൈ ദ പ്രൈം മിനിസ്റ്റർ ശ്രീ നരേന്ദ്ര മോദി ഹാസ് അപ്രൂവ്ഡ് ദ റിവൈസ്ഡ് നാഷണൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം for dairy development. The revised national program for dairy development, a central sector scheme, has been enhanced with an additional 1,000 crore rupees, bringing the total budget to 2,790 crore rupees for the period of the 15th Finance Commission cycle 2021 to 22 to 2025 to 26. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. ക്യാബിനറ്റ് അപ്രൂവ്സ് ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റേഷൻ ഓഫ് എ റിവൈസ്ഡ് രാഷ്ട്രീയ ഗോകുൽ മിഷൻ വിത്ത് എൻഹാൻസ്ഡ് അലോക്കേഷൻ ഫോർ ദ ഇയേഴ്സ് 2024-25 ആൻഡ് 2025-26. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് നമുക്കൊന്ന് വായിക്കാം. The Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has approved the revised Rashtriya Gokul Mission to boost growth in livestock sector. Implementation of a revised RGM as a central sector component of a development program scheme is being done with an additional outlay of 1,000 crore rupees, that is total outlay of 3,400 crore rupees during 15th Finance Commission cycle from 2021-22 to 25-26. Two new activities added are one-time assistance of 35% of the capital cost for establishment of heifer rearing centers to implementing agencies for creation of 30 housing facilities having total 15,000 heifers, and to encourage farmers to purchase high genetic merit IVF heifers to provide 3% interest subvention on loan taken by the farmer from milk unions or financial institutions or bank for such a purchase. This will help in systemic induction of a high yielding breeds. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. ക്യാബിനറ്റ് അപ്രൂവ് സെറ്റിംഗ് അപ്പ് ഓഫ് എ ന്യൂ ബ്രൗൺഫീൽഡ് അമോണിയ യൂറിയ കോംപ്ലക്സ് നാംറൂപ്പ് 4 ഫെർട്ടിലൈസർ പ്ലാന്റ്. അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസും വായിക്കാം. The Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has approved the proposal for setting up of a new brownfield ammonia urea complex of 12.7 lakh metric tons annual capacity of urea production within the existing premises of Brahmaputra Valley Fertilizer Corporation Limited, Namrup, Assam, with an estimated total project cost of 10,601.4 crore rupees, with a debt equity ratio of 70:30 through a joint venture under the new investment policy 2012, read with its amendments on 7th October 2014. The tentative overall time schedule for commissioning of a Namrup 4 project is 48 months. Additionally, the cabinet also approved the National Fertilizers Limited equity participation of 18% in relaxation to the limits prescribed in a Department of Public Enterprises guidelines and constitution of an interministerial committee to oversee the process of setting up of a Namrup 4 fertilizer plant. In the proposed joint venture, equity pattern will be as under: Government of Assam 40%, Brahmaputra Valley Fertilizer Corporation Limited 11%, Hindustan Urvarak and Rasayan Limited 13%, National Fertilizers Limited 18%, Oil India Limited 18%. BVFCL's share of equity shall be lieu of tangible assets. The project will increase the domestic urea production capacity in the country, especially in the northeastern region. It will meet the growing demand of urea fertilizers of northeast Bihar, West Bengal, eastern Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand. The Establishment of a Namrup for a unit will be more energy efficient. It will also open avenues for additional direct and indirect employment opportunity to the people of the area. It shall help achieve the vision of a self-reliance in urea in the country. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. Cabinet approves construction of a 6-lane access controlled greenfield highway starting from JNPA Port, Pagod to Chowk. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വായിക്കാം. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved the construction of a 6-lane access controlled greenfield high-speed highway, national highway starting from JNPA Port, Pagod to Chowk, 29.219 km in Maharashtra. The project will be developed on build, operate and transfer mode at a total capital cost of 4,500.62 crore rupees. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കടക്കാം. RBI and Bank of Mauritius signed pact on use of local currencies for bilateral transactions. അപ്പോൾ റിസർവ് ബാങ്ക് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യയും ബാങ്ക് ഓഫ് മൗറീഷ്യസും ഒരു എഗ്രിമെൻറ്റ് സൈൻ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ് ലോക്കൽ കറൻസീസിൻ്റെ യൂസിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. ബൈലാറ്ററൽ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻസ്, അതായത് ഈ രണ്ട് രാജ്യങ്ങൾ തമ്മിലുള്ള ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻസ്, അതായത് ഇന്ത്യൻ റുപ്പി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മൗറീഷ്യസിൻ്റെ റുപ്പി, ആ ഒരു ഇതിലായിരിക്കും നടക്കുക. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്കതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വായിക്കാം. Reserve Bank and the Bank of Mauritius have signed a pact for establishing a framework to promote the use of Indian rupee and Mauritian rupee for cross-border transactions. The memorandum of understanding was signed by Reserve Bank of India Governor Sanjay Malhotra and BOM Bank of Mauritius Governor Ramakrishna Sitanen, GCSK, the central bank said. The Reserve Bank of India said the MOU aims to promote the use of INR and Mauritian rupee in bilateral trade. The MOU covers all current account transactions and permissible capital account transactions as agreed upon by both the countries. The framework would enable exporters and importers to invoice and pay in their respective domestic currencies, which in turn would enable the development of a market in the INR-MUR pair. Use of local currencies would optimize costs and settlement time for transactions. Use of local currencies in bilateral transactions will eventually contribute to promoting trade between India and Mauritius, as well as deepen financial integration and strengthen the historical, cultural and economic relations between India and Mauritius. This collaboration marks a key milestone in strengthening bilateral cooperation between RBI and the Bank of Mauritius, Reserve Bank of India said. The MOU documents were exchanged in Port Louis, Mauritius, in the presence of the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi and the Prime Minister of Mauritius Navi Chandra Ramgoolam. നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. ഡൽഹി പോലീസ് ലോഞ്ചസ് Shishtachar anti-eve teasing squad to ensure women's safety. അപ്പോൾ ഡൽഹി പോലീസ് ശിഷ്ടാചാർ ലോഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ആൻറ്റി ഈവ് ടീസിങ് സ്ക്വാഡ് വുമൺ സേഫ്റ്റി എൻഷുർ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് നമുക്കൊന്ന് വായിക്കാം. Delhi police has launched a dedicated squad against eve teasing Shishtachar with at least 30 teams deployed across the national capital, especially in hotspots, to check incidents of harassment and ensure the safety of women in public spaces. The Bharatiya Janata Party had in Delhi Assembly election manifesto promised to establish anti-Romeo squad, as in Uttar Pradesh, to enhance women's safety in public spaces. The initiative adopts a multifaceted approach involving prevention, intervention and victim assistance. The squads have been directed to focus on enforcing the law without imposing personal or cultural morality, while also ensuring that victims are protected from undue public scrutiny or embarrassment. They will be provided with one four-wheeler and adequate two-wheelers to ensure effective patrolling and quick response. District Deputy Commissioners of Police have been tasked with identifying and listing hotspots prone to harassment, with squad deployment focusing on these areas. The Anti-Romeo Squad for Women's Safety were first set up by the Yogi Adityanath government in Uttar Pradesh in 2017 to fulfill the BJP's poll pledge after the party came into power there. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. RBI infuses 5 lakh crore rupees into banking system. The Reserve Bank of India had infused over 5 lakh crore rupees into the banking system since mid-January through bond purchases, forex swaps and early April maturity repos, aiming to maintain surplus liquidity and ensure the transmission of its rate cut benefits to borrowers. The central bank is set to inject an additional 50,000 crore rupees through bond repurchases. Additionally, even as RBI injects liquidity, it continues to withdraw rupees by selling dollars from its forex reserves. This strategy has helped stabilize the financial system, but short-term interest rates remain elevated due to liquidity deficits and economic uncertainties. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. SBI Mutual Fund launches 2 new public sector undertaking bank focused investment schemes. അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വായിക്കാം. SBI Mutual Fund has introduced 2 new investment options centered around India's public sector banking sector. SBI BSE PSU Bank Index Fund, an open-ended scheme that minors or tracks the BSE PSU Bank Index. SBI BSE Public Sector Undertaking Bank ETF, Exchange Traded Fund, an open-ended exchange traded fund that also replicates the BSE Public Sector Undertaking Bank Index. Their objective is to deliver returns closely aligned with the performance of the BSE PSU Bank Index, subject to tracking error. However, SBI Mutual Fund has clarified that achieving this investment objective is not guaranteed. The funds will primarily allocate 95% to 100% of their assets to stocks listed in the BSE PSU Bank Index. Additionally, up to 5% of assets may be invested in government securities, tri-party repo and units of liquid mutual funds to ensure liquidity. Minimum investment and listing details. The minimum investment amount during the new fund offer period is 5,000 rupees with additional investment allowed in multiples of 1 rupees. The benchmark index for these funds is BSE PSU Track TRI. Units of the SBI BSE PSU Bank ETF will be listed on both NSE and BSE for trading. These funds are ideal for investors seeking to capitalize on the performance of public sector undertaking banks through a diversified and structured investment vehicle. നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. Government forms interministerial committee to tackle fintech sector challenges. The Indian government has constituted an interministerial committee to address challenges faced by the country's rapidly growing fintech sector. The panel set up by the Department of Financial Services includes representatives from key government bodies such as the Department of Economic Affairs, Niti Aayog, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, as well as regulatory authorities like the Reserve Bank of India and the Securities and Exchange Board of India. In addition to government officials, the committee will also feature fintech industry leaders including Lalit Keshre, Grow, Jitendra Gupta Jupiter, Varun Dua Acco General Insurance and Ajay Kushal Buildesk. Their role will be to provide industry insights and help shape policies to support fintech innovation while ensuring compliance with regulatory frameworks. The primary objective of this initiative is to assess the fintech sector's growth and its impact on banking, financial services and insurance, and identify hurdles faced by startups. The committee will also review regulatory developments and propose measures to create a more enabling environment for fintech innovation. A report is expected to be submitted within 3 months from its meeting. This move follows a series of regulatory actions by the government and RBI over the past few years. In 2023, the Reserve Bank of India increased risk weightage for consumer credit exposure of banks and non-banking financial companies. Furthermore, in a recent crackdown, the central bank personalized 4 peer-to-peer lending platforms, Firecent, Finzi and Rengde for non-compliance with regulatory norms. നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. ഫ്ലിപ്കാർട്ട്സ് സൂപ്പർ മണി റൈസസ് ടു 5th place in UPI മാർക്കറ്റ് ഓവർടേക്കിംഗ് CRED ക്രെഡ്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വായിക്കാം. ദ യൂണിഫൈഡ് പേയ്മെൻറ്റ്സ് ഇൻ്റർഫേസ് ലാൻഡ്സ്കേപ്പ് ഇൻ ഇന്ത്യ ഈസ് വിറ്റ്നസിംഗ് എ സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻറ്റ് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് with emerging players steadily gaining market share. In a notable development, Flipkart Group's payment app Super Money has risen to become the 5th largest UPI player, surpassing Kunal Shah-led Cred in February 2025. This reshuffling in the rankings reflect the increasing competition in the digital payments ecosystem. According to National Payments Corporation of India, Flipkart's Super Money recorded approximately 139 million UPI transactions in February, overtaking Cred, which saw its transaction volume remain stagnant at around 130 million for the past year. Meanwhile, Navi, a fintech and a credit platform founded by Sachin Bansal, secured the 4th position in November 2024 and further solidified its standing with 261 million UPI transactions in February. This development underscores the growing influence of new age fintech players in a sector long dominated by market leaders PhonePe and Google Pay. The influx of these platforms has begun to fragment the market, chipping away at the share of established giants. നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് കടക്കാം. മാർക്ക് കാർണി sworn in as a first new Canadian Prime Minister in 9 years. അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വായിക്കാം. Mark Carney, an economist and political newcomer, has been sworn in as Canada's new Prime Minister. He took office just days after being elected leader of the governing Liberal Party. Carney replaces outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who was in office for 9 years after a landslide victory in Liberal leadership race. He previously held roles as Governor of Bank of Canada, the country's central bank, and Bank of England, and helped both countries weather major financial disruption. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you everyone. Bye.